Hey YouTube, welcome back to UniX TCG, and today we are here to discuss the Treasure Cup in Dallas. This is going to be a kind of a two-part thing. The first part, I'm just going to talk about my run, and then the second part, I'm going to actually talk about the tournament as a whole. So this is going to be pretty cool. At least I think so. So yeah, just wanted to say that it was once again a really fun time going to a One Piece event. We're going to be doing another Nakama roundup, this time for Dallas. So if you take a picture with me, you'll see yourself in the video pretty soon. And yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun with it. For you DBZ fans, understand we are going out with more videos very soon. Just got to get to that point. I am fresh off of getting home from the airport, and I just want to make sure I have these things out while they're relevant. And then we'll move back into our mix of DBS and One Piece and soon to be Battle Spirits content. So with that being said, last thing I wanted to put out there before we jump in is if you want to join the Universe X family, all you got to do is go down there, like the video, hit that subscribe button if you will, hit the notification button, and if you want to join the Discord to talk, join the Discord to talk. We do a lot of cool stuff. So, that being said, let's hop into the run. So, for this event, I ended up playing Luffy. Normally, I would definitely designate myself as a kid main, but basically, just a couple things I didn't like when I went to Treasure Cup Miami was that the mirrors were very skill intensive with Kid if both players drew well. Otherwise, sometimes there are some things you can't surmount. Like I played a mirror where I saw two Basils, but my opponent curved straight into Basil 7-drop, 8-drop, followed by a Law, and there was like no amount of playing I could do that could get out of that. Like he had blockers, he was able to protect his Bonnie, so he was able to constantly replenish his hand. He was drawing more cards than I was. He was out comboing me, or out countering me. And it just became a point where like, wow, I was like, it doesn't matter how many reps I've gotten in with this, it's just a bad situation. And so I opted to play something different because it left kind of a sour taste in my mouth. Kid's still the most consistent deck, and that's going to get you to a lot of places. But I just didn't want to go in and potentially have the same feeling I had last time. So I decided to play Luffy. I started off set 1 playing red, and I tried to take the build in a little bit of a different direction. So I'll show you the build real quick, and after I show you the build, I can tell you about my tournament breakdown. So of course you got Luffy. Dude's red leader, and he's able to pump the Rested Dawn. That should be pretty much known. Lots of this is going to be fast because you guys have seen this card, a lot of these cards before. I'm just going to kind of go into detail with some of the ones that you don't see in every deck. So we got Luffy as the leader. Of course, we've got 4 Namis. I almost said 3. Don't know why I did that. Of course, we got 4 Namis. 1-drop Searcher. You know what it is. I opted to play 3 Chopper. 4 Otama. And then the first part that kind of gets a little bit different than some of the other decks are my inclusion of the Gordons. A lot of people have been hating on this card, but I kind of feel like Red has a lot of offense just being red, right? And I'm sorry, yeah. Red has a lot of offense just being red. Where's that glare coming from? Let me see if I can, no, it's from the top, isn't it? I apologize for this, guys. So Red has a lot of destruction, and from that destruction, you pretty much are able to clear small threats. But I wanted to be able to clear as many threats as possible. I wanted to be able to clear threats while pushing at you so that I can get to a point where I'm both pressing your life and your board with the same set of cards. So Gordon allows you to go minus 3k on things for 1, and the synergy is really nice. You play it for 1, you tuck it on the deck, you minus 3k, you use that 1 Dawn with your Luffy leader in order to give it to somebody else. Bada bing, bada boom. Easy dub right there. And it also extends range. I'm going to show you guys the conjunction with it, but it's some of the stuff I explained in my last Zora video. But yeah. Gordon was actually really good, and you'll see how I got into that with my tournament breakdown. Then we've got Sanji. I have Sanji at 4 because if my opponent is green, they're trying to stall me off my life, I can take my life to replenish my hand. But also, he becomes a base 7k swinger, which means that if I need to be super aggressive, like in matches like Kaido, I may block so they don't get a damage, but then I'll play like a Sanji, and I'll get that card I blocked with from my hand back and be able to swing for 7k, because against Kaido, you really just need to put the gas on. That's how I end up winning against it. This card, phenomenal. 4 of the 2-drop Gordon. He's played at this number because 1, he's a 2k, but 2, he's able to just put back so many cards you don't want. You're going to see that later in this deck, later in this profile, you're going to see so many cards that just don't counter for anything, and sometimes you'll double up. Like, there are times where I'll have 3 Luffy in hand. I might want to keep it, but there's some matches where I'm like, I don't need 3 Luffy in hand, and I will just Gordon to see if I can get a better card. Things like that. Then you have 4 Robin, MVP of the deck. Not only is she going to be destroying blockers and small people, but with Otama, she can destroy 5Ks, and with Gordon, she can destroy 6Ks. So that's Basils, that's Queens. The amount of stuff you can destroy by using Gordon in conjunction with Nico is actually really, really good. Seeing as Nico is one of the best cards of the deck, I opted to play 2 more copies of her, a little weakened. So that's what the Beppos are there for. So really it's just 6 Nico Robins essentially. One of them's just better at swinging. Then we get to the rushers. These guys are the backbone of the deck because these are what apply the pressure. So you've got the 4 Zoro. You have got the 4 Luffy. Taking a break from the rushers, you've got the 3 Ben Beckman because these guys, unless you're facing blue, these guys are just really, really strong. They really just get in there. They have a great stat line. Being a 7 cost, they're not being tapped by Okikus. Being 9 power, they're not being killed by Jet Pistol. They can't be Otama Jet Pistol. There's a lot of stuff. 3 Shanks. Guy is the big boss of the deck, and he swings over the 1 cost blockers. And you can use things like Otama and Gordon to get rid of certain blockers as well. Like if you're facing like something like a 5K blocker, you can Gordon it to get it down low, and then it can't to 2K, and then it can't block anymore against Shanks. So 9 + 1, 9 + 1. There's lots of cool things here. Now my defensive suite. Well, I guess first we have to talk about the Gum Gum Jet Pistols. Once again, one of the MVPs of the deck. Removal is king, and you're able to just kind of go in on here. So, using the Jet Pistols, already good. You have so many good targets, Basils, Laws, Queens, etc., etc. But using Gordon, you can bring down things like Ben Beckmans, Mihawks, and then of course Otama could do the things that are slightly lower, like 8-drop Kid, 7-drop Kid, Dofi, things like that, Kings. So I think that's pretty nice. And then to finish off the little suite, 3 Radical Beams, because I'll normally take a couple life to make sure my hand's kind of fat, and then I'll start defending myself with Radical Beams. And then you've got Gum Gum, Fire Fist, Pistol, Red Hawk, because going up to 8 and then being able to destroy something is pretty neat too. So this is my list. Like I said, a lot of these cards you guys have already seen before, and now I can talk about my rounds. So, looking at this, we had 9 rounds of Swiss, and yeah, we'll go into my rounds. My first round was against Law, and Law was pretty good. I found that with this deck, like while I made it to fight green even better, I actually found that Law is probably my easiest matchup. Between the aggressiveness of red and the amount of destruction I have in my deck, yeah. So against red green Law, I ended up winning the die roll. I went first. I opened up Robin, I opened up Beppo, and I was fine keeping the hand. And then on my turn where I was gonna play Beppo, I drew Robin, and I was like, oh no. So all I did was make sure that I protected these 2, and just kept making sure that he couldn't keep a board. Like going in with these guys, chilling, destroying a blocker and swinging on the life, and red hawking something off the board. Like it was pretty bad. He just could never keep life up, or never keep a board up. So we just had a 4 life vanilla leader the entirety of our game. Then at the very end, he tapped out and he had a blocker, but I had seen him search. Like he put Law down and he bounced a killer blocker to his hand to play a Nami. And then the Nami searched to 1K, and then he also had the killer. He had bounced back to his hand, and there was 1 more card. So what I knew was that he had 2K in hand plus an unknown. He was tapped out, so the most he can combo for is 9K. So I just put 3 down into Luffy and swung for game. And that was it. Yeah. So the next round was actually Zoro. It was red v red. I was a little afraid of Zoro because, Zoro generally is built lower to the ground right now, and so it'll get under me before I can get under it. So I had to kind of play it a little safe. Was guarding towards the early game. Then I started pressing into him, I saw 2 radical beams, so I just kind of let it. Like I Nami'd one, saw one, so I just kind of let some cards come to my hand from my life so I could use radical beam and have more defenses. Ended up just blowing up his board. The build that I had was just really good at making sure he could not maintain a build or maintain a board, and eventually he's just, you know, for the most part hoping to draw a rusher or swinging with his leader, and I was able to get over that. Next, round 3, I played against Kid. That was a pretty close game. It was a pretty close game, but he actually assessed the board really well. Like, mid-game, he just realized that whatever he put on the board, I was just smoking. Between jet pistols, between, like, the Gordons and the Otamas, and he just realized that I was getting rid of pretty much everything. So he started going, like, kind of really face Kid while just playing a blocker with his extra Dawn. And it almost got there. He had a pivot turn where he tried to play 8-drop Kid, and I immediately Otama jet pistoled it. And then we went back to kind of trading pressure, and he almost got there. I was able to combo out of his stuff at the end and then swing for game the following turn. So that one was really, really close. I thought it was going to be a little easier than that. Next, I faced the mirror, Luffy. It was red versus red. And, you know, we were playing like pretty evenly, and then the turning point made me so happy because it was just straight up a tech that I put in. And sorry, I didn't turn off vibration. So it was a tech that I put in, the Gordon, but basically on one of my turns, I played my Gordon and I passed. And he responded with playing his Gordon, Ben Beckman. And he responded by playing his Ben Beckman and then attempting to pass after swinging with his leader. And on my next turn, I played Gordon, bottom decked, and then jet pistol. So basically, I had 7 Dawn, played Ben Beckman. Then on my next turn, you know, after he tapped out with 7 Dawn, or he used 7 of his 8, I ended up just playing 5 of my now 9 Dawn to blow up his Ben Beckman. It was a complete backbreaker. I proceeded to go in from there, ended up playing Shanks. It was bad. Now, so won that one. So now we're 4-0, going into round 5, facing Doflamingo. And that was unfortunate for me. He curved out very, very well. There's nothing I can do about that. I was trying to hope that I could see Gordon and jet pistols to get rid of his big dudes, but I think I got like Dofied into a Mihawk. Like, he kept resetting my Robin, and I was trying to keep the Robin up so I could hopefully try to pick away at his smaller things using Otamas and Gordons. But he was able to control my board very, very well. And then it just got to a point where I could not progress the board enough without fearing for his beaters coming in on me. And he had like 2 life left. I could not get those 3 swings out, and homeboy just ended up clapping me. Like, it was just bad. So yeah, he got it. He was also like one of the highest. We played at table 8, and he was like just up at top tables until the last 2 rounds, where unfortunately back-to-back losses kind of messed up his record. So next, I played against Kaido. Now this dude's curve was insane. So I lost the die roll and he went first. That's cool. Generally, I know Kaido likes the curve. That they don't see Onigashima, them going first just feels really meh. So he ended up playing on turn 2. He played Onigashima. On turn 3, he played Queen. On turn 4, he played 6-drop King, and I think Kurzumi blocker, if I'm not mistaken. On turn 5, he played another King, or another Queen. On turn 6, he played 9-drop Kaido. And then after that, he played, like at some point he played like Kurzumi blocker, but he also played a King. I was like, oh my gosh, a 7-drop King. So his curve was amazing. And because of the way my deck is set up, I actually got rid of a lot of it. Like, I held the first jet pistol for his Queen. The second Queen that came out was killed by Gordon, Nico Robin. The other Queen, or the other King he brought out was killed by Otama, and then me swinging into it heavy. And then basically, like, I'm down to 1 life. There was a turning point of the game where he only had like 4 cards in hand, and so I was like, I have to take this gamble. So I Gordoned his Kaido, his 9-drop Kaido from 9 to 6, and I swung on it for like 8 or 9, and he was able to bounce it with 3 cards, 2 or 3 cards, I think. And that was the turning point, because since he was tapped out, I was like, I have to go for it. And I feel like if I got that Kaido off the board, it would have been my game, because he did swing with the Kaido for 13k to clear my hand. The way it turned out, the way it ended, he basically had his Kaido, his leader, and his King, and I blocked his King, He crit my life. He swung with the Kaido and I couldn't stop it, and that was it. And he still had his leader to swing for 5k, and I can only match Kaido, so he had the game handily. But if I was able to kill that Kaido, I think I would have won that one. He had 1 life and he beat me, but he also ended up in top 16. So Mr. Classel, you being one of the top 2 Kaido players in the tournament, congratulations. Then I end up playing against Law again. Unfortunately, like I said, Law is a very, very good matchup for my particular build of Luffy, so that was a pretty open and shut case. Once again, I just controlled the board, and his leader wasn't ever able to use its effect, so unfortunate for him. So that was another win. So at this point, I am X-2. I believe I am 5-2. So then I end up round 8 getting paired against Marcus Cantarsi. Shoutouts to Crossworld TCG. I've been around them for a while playing Dragon Ball. Joey Palladino, Danny Wynn, like Marcus Cantarsi, but he was playing Kaido. We had a really, really close game. Like, he ended up sitting there and thinking for like 6 minutes on his last turn because we both understood. Like, he had to close out game that one turn or he was dying the very next turn. So he had to sit and kind of compute, and he was able to pull it out. Like, he swung for, once again, 13, and I only had the 13. I had a Red Hawk and 2 2Ks. So I could not stop it. It was unfortunate, but it is what it is. I lost to a good player. And then the last round was Zoro, and I won that one. It was unfortunate. I don't think he drew well, but I also was doing a lot of things where I was just making sure his board was getting destroyed. And so at the end of the day, he wasn't getting enough swings in, and I swung with Shanks through a 6-card hand, and 11k got through 6 cards in hand. So in red, that's very unfortunate. It's doable, but it's very unfortunate. So that was my record. I went 6-3, and because the Dofi player was doing well, Marcus was in the 20s, and my other loss was top 16, I actually was able to get top 64. I think I was a 56th place, so I got to see the chopper. It was cool to get a top, but I wish I did better. And yeah, let's real quick move over to the closing. So there you have it. That's my top 64 Luffy board control deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed the rundown of the tournament. It was awesome meeting as many of you guys as I did. And for the people I met again, awesome indeed. I'm going to be doing, like I said, another Nakama roundup. We're going to be closing up the film deck giveaway soon, because we're going to be starting on the Black Marine deck giveaway soon. So, you know, we got to get all that stuff in there. We're having a great time with One Piece. Like I said, if you're like Dragon Ball 2, we're going to be getting into that. And soon enough, we're going to be getting into our Battle Spirits too. We got so much going on this channel. The channel is growing at such a great rate, and I cannot wait to see where it takes me next. So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys had a great weekend, whether you went or not. And we are right about to be on set 2. It's so crazy to think about, and we got so many things to do when this set drops. So stay tuned. I will see you guys later. Peace.